Ladies and gentlemen, this is a beautiful day. God bless the veterans of our country, and God bless the disabled veterans of our country. They have given so much to the nation, to the country, and everyone in America loves you. If you're a veteran, if you're a disabled veteran, everyone loves you, and everyone appreciates your sacrifice and everything that you have endured. I certainly do. And I'm just trying the best way I can. I know it's probably, the words aren't coming out in the manner that I want to convey, but I just want to say that we love you, we respect you, and God bless you. This is a great story. Trump signs executive order canceling student loan debt for disabled veterans. Before I get into my spiel and my shtick and all that stuff, definitely check out H.A. Goodman's other channel below. But before I get in, let me just read this. President Trump signed an executive order on Wednesday that forgives all student loan debt for any permanently disabled U.S. military veterans. The order, which Trump signed following a speech at the American Veterans National Convention in Louisville, Kentucky, also clears those eligible veterans from having to pay any federal income tax on the loans. Trump added that he is pressuring individual states to follow suit. The debt of these disabled veterans will be completely erased, Trump said. It should have happened a long time ago. I'm very happy of what President Trump did today. That's hundreds of millions of dollars of student loan debt for our disabled veterans that will be completely erased. And I think we should do more for our veterans and our disabled veterans. I think we should do more. I'm 100% in support of President Trump bringing home Americans from never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts. He has stated he wants to in two specific theaters of conflict. And yet Democrats and media, and even Bernie Sanders, the guy that I thought would have a foreign policy like Trump. That's why if you're a Bernie supporter, vote for Trump. You get his foreign policy, what you thought Bernie's foreign policy would be. The beginning of a peace deal, eventual peace deal between North and South Korea. The first president to step foot in North Korea. President Moon Jae-in of South Korea stated that President Trump deserves the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay? Clinton she wanted to ring China with missile defense. And by the way, she's running again. I'll get into that a little later, but I'll just continue to read. He wants to bring home Americans, and then Bernie Sanders said, "It has to be an orderly withdrawal." An orderly withdrawal. He just repeats whatever the Democratic Party line is after they cheated him and used him as a human doormat. But that's how, okay, so the memo Trump signed directs the government to develop an expedited process so veterans can have their federal student loan debt discharged with minimal burdens. Currently, just half of the roughly 50,000 disabled veterans who are qualified to have their federal student loan debt forgiven have received the benefit because of burdensome application process. Okay, so every one of the 50,000 disabled veterans should immediately have their student loan debt erased. I'm glad President Trump has done this. There's a lot more to be done, a lot more that Trump has to do, a lot more that the country has to do. I think one of the major things is the reason people vote for Trump, the reason I love the president, the reason I respect President Trump is because he has an anti-interventionist foreign policy. He does not destroy countries like Libya, like sleepy Joe Biden and Clinton and President Obama did. He does not. He wants to bring home Americans from conflict. There is no rebuttal from the left. There's no rebuttal. The rebuttal is, he hasn't yet. Well, he hasn't because the media and the Democratic Party and all the wonderful pundits like Max Boot, who are establishment Republicans, and pundits on MSNBC and CNN immediately say, oh my goodness, Trump's weakening us. They don't get it. They don't understand. To Democrats, foreign policy is not even a consideration. They care more about what a person says on Twitter than failed military interventions and quagmires and counterinsurgency conflicts where half to two-thirds of all the Americans killed and wounded in Iraq and Afghanistan were the victims of IED blasts. And President Trump just recently said he wants to bring home Americans from both of those theaters of conflict and also other locations as well. And these are articles in The Hill. These are articles in the New York Times. This is public record knowledge, and nobody cares. All they want to do is demonize this orange monster. And I haven't even looked on Twitter. I don't have a Twitter account, but you can look on Twitter. I don't have social media. I have my YouTube channel, H.A. Goodman, of almost 150,000 subs. It's just me yelling into this microphone. And I have H.A. Goodman's other channel, where I'm raw and uncensored and unfiltered, and I have a great segment on Bill Maher and how he made his own bed regarding the left. So he gets to enjoy the wonderful sanity of Democratic Party politics. That's on H.A. Goodman's other channel. It's below in the pinned comment. But God bless America. God bless the veterans of this country and the disabled veterans of our country. You know, it would be nice to have the ability to have even a debate or discussion with people on the left. A rational dialogue about why they would vote for. You have YouTube personalities who are progressive, quote unquote, who don't like me, but they're the first people to say vote for Hillary Clinton or vote for Hillary Clinton in swing states, and then they're against. They say empire or interventions or they don't use the phrase bring Americans home to their families. I use that because that's what I want. When I was on the far left and I wrote an article about Rand Paul in the Huffington Post, and then I wrote 100 articles about Bernie Sanders in the Huffington Post, The Hill, and Salon, and now I write articles about President Trump in the Jerusalem Post and the Federalist and the Daily Caller. And I am now a Trump supporter, but I was a Bernie Sanders supporter before, and I was always opposed. There was actually one article that I wrote that was favorable to Clinton, if you could believe that. But the one thing that always drove me and what drives me is I do not want to continue the failed military endeavors of Vietnam all the way up to today's conflicts. If you read Daniel Bulger's book, General Daniel Bulger, he wrote a book called Why We Lost, but it's not just him, it's a bunch of other people. The United States military should not be in a protracted, long-term occupation of a country. You don't want American soldiers occupying Damascus, which is exactly what Clinton would have pushed for. Okay? And most of the people who are like, you said something horrible, they don't even know where Damascus is. So the left is completely lost its mind. And, I'm not going to weigh in on the Colin Kaepernick type, that whole thing. But when you think about if it was a one person protest, fine. But then when you get signed by Nike and they have sweatshops and the whole thing, it's like wearing a Che Guevara shirt. Like that's a capital. Wait, that shirt is an example of capitalism. You don't get it? Okay, whatever. And then you get people who are like, it's not an affront to the flag. It's not. And it's like, well, there are people who have fought and who are disabled and and veterans who are able-bodied but have night terrors all the time because of the experiences and the memories they've had in these conflicts and wars. And it's like, yeah, when you do that, you are insulting a great many people. Now, I might be wrong. There might be a lot of veterans who say, nah, it's not an insult to me at all. But the notion that I find it just hypocritical that people would get all up in arms and outraged over a tweet, but totally fine kneeling during the national anthem, even though you know that it would hurt a great many people. And Did President Obama change laws? Certainly not. That started under President Obama's administration. Do you ever see Pelosi taking a knee? How about Schumer? How about Clinton? How about any Democrat? Do you ever see any of these pundits on the left taking a knee? I would like to see Pelosi or Schumer or any of the Democrats who call Trump a monster, see if they take a knee. No, they don't. They like to sit on the fence and play both sides and pit people against each other. But I guess that crossed my mind, and as I was doing this segment, that the flag of this country, yes, people have the First Amendment right to do a lot of things to it and to do a lot of things during the national anthem. However, I just think that when you think about the veterans, disabled veterans, you think about the sacrifices that people make every single day dealing with the horrors of wars that we send them to. I just find the duplicity in the Democratic Party and the left just to be stunning, nauseating, horrific. But that was just something I was thinking of. But the memo Trump signed directs the government to develop. Okay, so under the current process, disabled veterans can have their debt forgiven under a loan forgiveness program called the Total and Permanent Disability Discharge, or TPD, as long as they have a VA service-connected disability rating. Okay, so as of July, however, so only 20% of the eligible pool of veterans have taken advantage of the program due to the complicated nature and the application of other factors. So I noticed that I've known veterans who've told me just the application process, dealing with the VA, is just very difficult. It's a very difficult process, and the papers, the process is a long process to deal with. From what I've heard, if you have had to deal with the VA or the government, and you're a veteran, in the comment section, tell me about what is it like in terms of the paperwork and in terms of dealing with the bureaucracy. I know it must be horrendous. Bureaucracy, my God, it's like bureaucracy is just a horrendous part of life. And especially from what I've heard from veterans and from people who've had to deal with the VA and who've had to deal with these programs, it's a lot of work, a lot of paperwork. But you know what? I'm glad that President Trump has at least signed the executive order. Trump signs order to eliminate student loan debt for disabled veterans. So I'm glad. Executive order Sarah A. Carter, amazing journalist. President Trump cancels student loan debt for disabled veterans. So I just think that this is a fantastic day, and I'm happy, and I'm very interested to see how it's spun. Almost certainly the left is going to be like, you'll have the Squad, or you'll have somebody in the Democratic Party, you'll have progressives say, well, why doesn't everybody get student loan debt canceled, huh? It's like, well, the rebuttal initially will be, why aren't you either enjoying or appreciating today, or even, like, you can't say that President Trump did a good thing. This is objectively a good thing. This is objectively a great day for the country. When disabled veterans and all veterans benefit, the country benefits. Even if you don't like Trump. Okay? Even if you don't like Trump. I think Bush is the worst president of all time. If he had done this, I'd be like, okay, he did a good thing. He sent Americans off, but he did a good thing. So did President Obama. And so they just can't say that he did a good thing. And it's interesting. Give me your thoughts below. The House, has the House even passed student loan debt, canceling every American student loan debt? Has the House even passed that? I don't believe it has. So the initial rebuttal will be like, well, why have Democrats passed the bill? But give me your thoughts below. This is a great day, and I think that we need to then follow this up by bringing every American home to their families. That's what's always driven me. And the people who don't like me, which I'm not, nobody knows really who I am, but the people who've tried to disparage me in hit pieces, whether it's the Daily Beast or Raw Story or a million different, insignificant blogs and, publications that are no longer around, actually, they never understood that what drives me is a foreign policy that is a non-interventionist foreign policy where we can have eventually peace between North and South Korea, where President Trump says, I want to bring home all Americans from these theaters of conflict and perpetual war. That's what drives me. And in addition to the fact that Trump is going up against a very corrupt intelligence community and the economy is great, we can go on forever. He's objectively a good president. Is he perfect? No. He's a much better president than President Obama, who destroyed Libya and drank Flint water in a shameful publicity stunt to deceive people. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. I'm going to try to do about 2 to 3 segments a day on that channel and grow that channel. So it's 10,000 now. But I really like Tim Pool. He has 2 channels. I watch him. I watch both of his channels. And I think other people have 2 channels. Some other people have 2 channels too. So this channel will be more of a family-friendly channel. And my H.A. Goodman's other channel, that'll be H.A. Badman, my alter ego. So check that one out. God bless you. If you're a veteran of this country, God bless you. If you're a disabled veteran of this country, thank you for everything that you've done for all of us. And ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts below. Thank you.